Hey everybody, welcome to the photography show. Really excited to be here, the first full photography show for a few years. Very excited that we're here with so many amazing products. Come and see us to register to win the huge 96 by 48 inch Chromolux metal print. There'll be one lucky winner from the show, but you have to come in here to get your badge scanned so that you can actually be entered to win. We also have all of our wall art, we have our albums, we have several new products that we're showing here again. The Tramontina range, the new Jerry Dionis range of blocks, leather wall art, a quilted album. So we've got some fabulous things for you to see. We're also doing talks here, and today I'm very privileged to be joined by Miranda Walton. Miranda did not want to do this talk, but I'm very happy to say
you tricked me into it.
I've tricked you into it. As you know, as some of you know, magazines can form a very important part of your business. And at Graphic Studio, we've been producing magazines now for a couple of years. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to interview Miranda and to ask her to share what's been successful about her business. And so any of you that are here, you can see, you can pick up the magazines, but we're going to show for those of you that aren't here what exactly they are and how they can help your business. So thank you for joining us, Miranda.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking the time out to do that. So your business model has changed over the last few years, and in particular, your in-person sales side of things. You're changing and you're adapting your business and the way that you do business too.
That's right.
What's happened over the last few years to change in your business?
So initially, a few years ago, I was selling just digital files with a few matching prints, not focused on products at all. I got some okay sales, but there was a limit. I felt it couldn't go any higher. I was seeing clients printing their own pictures terribly badly and decided I didn't want to do that again. So I knew I wanted to sell products. I knew I wanted to sell Graphic Studio products, but without a studio, without a sales room, without any sort of means of showing them the products before I got the shoot booked, it was difficult. So I wasn't selling them. So I changed my model to just selling products. And the magazines have really helped me to do that.
I know you mentioned to me once about a shoot you did for somebody, then you went to see, they said, I've got something printed to put on my wall, and you said, what have you done to my pictures?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
A shoot I'd done for a friend that I gave her the digitals. She was a good friend, so I gave her the digitals, and she was so proud that she'd made this collage of pictures, and it was a big frame on her wall, and it had the most horrific green colour cast on, which was not in the original pictures. And from that day on, I swore I wouldn't be selling digitals on their own again.
Well, that really isn't helping your brand positioning for any of her friends that happen to
definitely
see
not.
It's not helping your sales. Okay, so you switched to starting to sell product, prints, mounts, print boxes and things like that, and you moved into wall art. Without having a sales room and without having a studio, it's obviously a lot harder for you to do that. How have magazines helped you to expand your business and to grow your sales revenue?
So I think with the magazines, from the moment the client books, they get this through their door, it's a printed product. So they are already know that I'm serious. It's not just digital. So we are talking printed products from the second that they get that. It also means that I have all the products in there, I have all the prices. It means that sits with them from the minute they book the shoot, and they decide what they want to buy before they even see it. So then it's meant no sales for me. I don't feel pushy. I don't feel like I'm making people buy things they don't want to buy. They've decided on their own through the help of that magazine.
So I can see in the magazine, you start out a little bit about you talk about the client, the importance of photography. You talk about then what they need to wear, what they need to bring, what to expect.
Yeah.
But then it quite quickly goes into your photos, but all based on product.
It's products and pictures of products in the home. So I want people, when they're sitting at home with the magazine, I want them to look at that empty wall and imagine some wall art there. I want them to look at the shelf that they're going to put the reveal box on and start sort of imagining what they're going to buy. So
and you put your prices in your magazine, don't you?
I do. Again, it's a personal choice. I know not everyone does it. I am not a salesperson in respect of my worst nightmare would be to show the people their photographs and them to choose something that they love and go, how much? There's no way I'm paying that. I want them to know how much everything costs so that they can either budget for that and decide that I'm not that photographer for them, and therefore I've not wasted my time. And so I have zero no sales. I know what I'm going to get.
I guess too that's your part of your filtering process. But not everybody gets this, do they?
I send that out. If a client books, they definitely get one. And if I think they're going to book and they need a little more persuading, they get one.
Them to book this.
I don't send them to everyone. I speak to them on the phone. I decide. I have a fair idea if they're going to turn into a client or not.
So, it's your own business magazine. It's made a significant difference for you. So, I know that your previous kind of average sale value was topping at around £400.
Right.
Is that right?
It's I've gone through the help of the magazine, and I believe I haven't changed much else about my business other than that, from making £400 to £4,000 sales. Not all the time,
no,
unfortunately, but it shows it's possible.
But your minimum sale now is £750, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a reveal box, one of the
That's
studio reveal boxes in the Superprice collection with how many prints and mounts?
10 is the standard, the usual amount.
Your minimum sale at £750.
That's not minimum set by me. They could just walk away with one matted print if they wanted to, but that is what the minimum people choose to buy.
What was interesting to me was the story that you told me of as we were coming out of lockdown, one of the first shoots you did with a previous client who'd previously had all of the digitals for £450 and maybe a couple of prints. Tell me about that experience. What happened there?
So it was a returning client that had had a couple of shoots with me before, and I'd already decided in my head they weren't going to pay my new prices, but thought I'm going to send them the magazine anyway. I sent them the magazine, they booked, so fully aware that my prices had changed. And on the day of the shoot, they were already talking wall art, and I showed them the small samples of the. So
you've got the little miniature samples of our
Pro range,
series, right? Okay.
And thought no more about it. I sent them their gallery online as I had been doing.
So not even doing in person.
Not doing in person, but they had this magazine at home, and I got an email back saying that they wanted such and such collection, and the letter, and it was over £4,000.
So I remember it was. They said we want the one that's above the kitchen table.
Yeah.
The one above the kitchen table. So again, showing the wall art in home in reference to
they knew what they wanted.
They knew what they wanted, and then they mentioned to you which of the collections they wanted from which size, and it was your top one, wasn't it? Did you ever expect to sell that?
I didn't. You told me that I could, and I didn't believe you, and I put it in there anyway to make the other collections
look more reasonable.
To me, and obviously that shows that's my own price block that I had that people wouldn't spend, and given the opportunity and given the right products and given the sort of the fact that they could sit there and think about it and decide what was right for their space, people will.
Yeah, it wasn't a shock to them. They'd already made that consideration. They'd already planned in their home. They knew what they wanted, and that was it. So have you done? Was that a fluke? Do you think? Was that a one-off?
I thought it was. Again, at the time, I was very happy to start off with, and then thought it was a fluke. But it's happened time and time again.
Now, obviously, it's not your everyday sale.
It's not.
But it's meant that your averages have gone up quite significantly, and that even now you're seeing a lot more return on your investment. You're not looking for hundreds of shoots, are you? You're not looking for. You're looking for a small number of shoots at high value. Awesome. So how else have you used magazines? That's really quite important for us.
So I've used them in several different ways. I photograph a school yearbook. So the year 6 leavers at primary school, sort of 11-year-old students are leaving. I go in for half a day. I shoot individual portraits. I shoot them with their friends, and
so
then
they get an individual portrait, shoot them with their best friends, with questions and a piece of art that they've done. What I want to be when I grow up, favourite subject and things like that, and then some pictures of them together as a group and as a class. Who pays for this?
For this school in particular, the PTA fundraise, and they buy each child a copy. So on their end of year, on the leavers ceremony, their assembly, they get given a copy. There's space in the back that they can all sign from messages from their friends. And it's been a great referral tool because obviously with this, I then put a gift certificate. So those families then book me for family shoots afterwards.
And of course, when you're in year 6 and you're leaving to go off to big school, you'll be friends with all these people forever, won't you? You'll never lose your friendship. But you'll get a sweatshirt or you'll get a towel that the kids have written on. But there's nothing really
this
quite
is something
the same.
they will keep in a memory box or keep forever.
And I guess too that sometimes the grandparents want one, and so you actually end up potentially getting more. So, okay, so that's another brilliant use for it. And I think particularly because the PTA pay for it and that they fundraise for it. And I guess once somebody's had one child at the school,
they ask. I get now parents they contact me directly and say, "Are you still doing it?" I have to refer them back to the PTA and to make sure. But the parents are driving the fact that I get repeat bookings from that.
And so I guess the parents then go back to the PTA and go,
we want this year book.
Yeah. I know this year you weren't sure if you would get it again, were you? But all of a sudden the PTA bring you up and say, "Oh, we've got too many kids, so we've got to have it."
Yeah.
So tell me, how else have you used the magazines?
This was a charity project that I ran after lockdown. I didn't photograph many teenagers. Most of my work is newborns or small children, families with tiny children. And I wanted for my portfolio to photograph some older children, just for my own interest. So I decided to do that in conjunction with a teenage mental health charity to raise some money for them, to get more pictures for my portfolio. And each child, they had to make a minimum donation to the charity. And then 100% of the profits went to that charity, and the families got a magazine.
So they each got a magazine with their child in the urban models of Northampton.
Yeah.
They had access to a gallery if they wanted to buy any more of the pictures. So you got your models for free. You raised money for the charity. Yeah. And of course, you got to send them a gift certificate. And
actually, a couple of the families bought some of the metal wall art that you offer with those pictures on, because they were great for the kids' bedrooms and they made them feel more confident, and it was a good experience for the children.
And I would guess too, particularly now, because social media has made a lot of teenagers especially not want to post their pictures out there. They're fine if they're glamorous and gorgeous, but if they're not, and the social media stops a lot of kids from wanting to have photos and certainly from sharing them.
It stopped them wanting to have the family pictures. I think most of those children from that shoot wouldn't have wanted to go with their family to do a family shoot in the woods or something like that. But because this was a little more edgy, it was in the graffiti, they were really keen to share these pictures. And I've had business to do urban shoots from that, which are really fun.
This is like a dancer in a grotty pub street, which you would never ever actually get. The kid's never going to go down there in that outfit herself. And
they loved it. They really enjoyed it.
They really enjoyed it. And tell me how else have you done?
And then this one was in conjunction with a local business. They had hired me. The children's shoe shop had hired me to take some pictures for their website. They wanted to use real children rather than models, so we put out a model call.
That's Zap and Toes, big plug for the shop.
They are fantastic, really bespoke children's shoe shop. They really take their time and fit the shoes properly. So they got the pictures. They got a lot, because they were new to the town at the time when we started. So they got a lot of publicity through the model call. So it benefited both themselves and me in terms of local publicity.
And then you turned to make mini models of Toaster, which actually was in a magazine.
That was available to buy for all the families with children in the magazine.
How many of them bought it?
All of them.
They all bought it. Any of them buy more than one copy? There we go. And I remember you telling me at the time that it was incredibly successful because you didn't ask for a photo of the child.
No, that's right. All children are beautiful and all deserve the chance to model if that's what they'd like to do. So we asked about the child rather than ask to send a picture. I actually got some good PR from that, and several people contacted me to say how refreshing it was that you weren't asking to see pictures of the children before you chose them.
Yeah.
So they were just chosen purely on the fact is, why would your child like to do this? It was chosen on that rather than anything else.
And of course, your advertising's on the back and a gift certificate. Yeah. But you got quite a lot of inquiries, which I guess are also leads that you can follow up.
Yeah, there are hundreds of people applied, and local families.
So all people will want their children photographed that you can follow up with at a later date if they're not successful. I'll also even send them a gift certificate if they're not successful.
It's been a really useful piece of marketing. As long as you find someone to work with whose ideal customer is similar to yours.
Yeah,
so you have to align the customers. Right.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. That just goes to show that magazines are not dead. I know the newsagents are disappearing, but We think that there is a return to the tangible. People who've never seen or never touched anything printed are starting to see that they want something for their money. The magazines in your hand can really give you that tangible something. So make sure you come down and see us here at the show. If you can't see it at the show, come and see us at our offices, which are north of London, close to Watford. We will be running some sales seminars there on how to market, how to sell your businesses.
We have some copies of the magazine if you want some inspiration or need some help in designing your own, then just come and see us.
We can certainly help you with that. If you're here at the show, please come and see us. Bring your pass and scan to win a 96 by 48 inch Chromolux panel, the biggest panel that Chromolux provide us with to print on. You could be one lucky winner to take that home. You put your images on it, and even if you don't have a place that's big enough for it, we'll make it in a smaller size for you. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing some of you here at the show, and if not at the show, at the next time you're around near to Watford.